right. Okay. Hold on. Well, I've got there's a whole file here. I've gone too long on this. What I'm going to do will be quicker, but I have like three different files of talent reports. And here I've written a page typed on just Cena and three-quarters of a page on Orton. I don't even haven't even read this 25 years. I'm not gonna see how much came through true.
Are they all typed?
A lot of this stuff is typed because I was faxing it to the office, see, back in the fax days. That's why I have the originals. But for now, we've been going on a while, but I'll leave you with something else. If you want to later on, we can come back to it. But I gave the fans a questionnaire when they would come into the Davis Arena on Wednesday nights for the TV tapings. I think we just did it 1 week. I was going to say we did it 2 weeks in a row, but we did it 1 week. And we handed out this piece of paper and we said, if you folks would be kind enough to help us by giving us this information, fill this out for us, then everybody gets a free picture when they turn it in. I can't remember who the picture was of, right? And more often than not, they turned it in. We got, I think, a few hundred at least. So what we did was then we typed up the results, or I typed up the results and sent them to Tom Pritchard, who was working in the office in Stamford at the time, to pass, because he was in charge of, I can't remember what his title was at the time, but they were sending him to the various places. They'd send him to Louisville. They'd send him to Cincinnati when they had a developmental there, or to Memphis, or they'd send him to camps or look or whatever, but he was based for a while out of Stanford. So this was actually April 28th, 2004. This is dated. So we passed out these questionnaires, everybody that came to TV, and we got 175 completed forms back out of the people that came to see our television show tapings live on Wednesday night. Would you like to hear the results, Brian?
Yeah, that's a pretty good amount. I would like to hear it.
Who is your favorite current OVW wrestler? And we say you're allowed to pick more than one because people aren't, they might want to do two or three or whatever. Guess who, and this is 2004, guess who number one was by a 2-1 margin?
I don't know.
Matt Morgan.
Really? Wow.
Matt Morgan got 70 first place votes, as they say. And the next, and honestly, I think there was some lobbying going on because at the time, Tank Toland was a big baby face for us, and Johnny Jeter was a big baby face. And they got 35 and 31 respectively. And if you remember 7, Kevin Fertig.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about him over the years, yes.
Well, he got 33. And I got to think, and I think they were baby faces then, but still, I got to think there may have been some effort on his part to gain favor somehow with them, but they were filling him out in the crowd, right? Anyway, number 5, Matt Capitelli, 28. Number 6, Nick Dinsmore had just switched back babyface the week before. Number 7, our cult favorite that never was seen outside the grounds of the Davis Arena, the real deal Rod Steele. Number 8 was Sin. Number 9, Nova. And number 10, Mac Johnson. I won't bother you with all the way down to number 33, but let me just give you some of the names that were in the bottom 25 that would go on. Alexis Lurie was Mickey James.
Yeah.
Jillian Hall, Johnny Nitro, John Morrison.
Well, was that before Eminem?
This 2004. Was right. Well, but this was, see, the thing is, they were heels. So I said, who's your favorite? This is for the baby faces. But also just, you'll see, hold on here. But wait a minute, where was I going? Who's your favorite? His favorite, we're back on. Carlito Colon got 4 votes. And guess who got one vote? Shaniqua, Linda Miles.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But Aaron the Idol Stevens was on there. But see, these were some of the names, but they were baby faces. But hold on a second here now. Because now, who is your least favorite current OVW wrestler? You could pick more than one, but these are the heels. Number one was Nova, and number two was Idol, Aaron the Idol Stevens, and they were partners at the time. So even though, you know, some people, because they were local guys, all these guys lived here and people knew them. Some of them are going to get votes, even if they're a heel as my favorite or whatever. But for the majority, it was long party lines.
Where's Danny? Where's Danny Inferno?
Believe it or not, number 8 with 13 votes. Actually, 21 people said none. All are good. I guess they were afraid it'd be held against them. But Chris Masters, Brent Albright, Danny Inferno, and remember in Inspector Impact, Luther Reigns. But again, you know, the heels didn't get that many votes because basically they just said, Nova and Idol and the top 4 or 5 heels. And then every once in a while, like Shaniqua still got one vote. She was one person's least favorite, one person's favorite. But Matt Morgan ran away with Johnny Jeter, and Capitelli and Dinsmore and Tank. They ran away with the thing. And 7, as I said, I never saw that response otherwise. But what is your favorite promotion? You're not allowed to pick more than one. 94 said OVW, 47 said WWE, 26 said both OVW and WWE, and 7 had no answer. They were afraid it'd be held against them also.
No one said TNA, which existed.
Well, and hold on, there's more questions on that down here that might answer that. What is your favorite TV show, Raw or SmackDown? 99 said Raw, 52 said SmackDown, 16 said both, neither said one, and 6 had no answer. So at that time, because SmackDown was, well, it'd been around for, what day was, 04? It'd been around for a couple of years at that point. Well, no, 5 years. They just liked Raw better. So how often do you watch the following TV shows? OVW Saturdays at 11 p.m. Weekly 114, sometimes 37, never 9. How the fuck did you end up here then? And 14 had no answer. And they were immediately taken and back and frisked. And WWE syndication on UPN Big 58 Saturdays at 11 a.m. How often do you watch? Weekly 45, sometimes 35, never 80, 14 no answer. The same 14 didn't answer these goddamn TV questions. How often do you watch Raw on Spike TV? Weekly 123, sometimes 20, never 17, and no answer 14. And finally, SmackDown on UPN, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Weekly was 122, sometimes was 26, never was 12, and no answer 14. So it was pretty much spread out, except for nobody watched WWE syndication at that point in time. But listen to this one. Do you watch TNA, or I'm sorry, do you watch NWA/TNA? That's what they were being called then, on pay-per-view? Never. 134.
Oh my God, it's almost everybody.
Not often, 9. Twice a month, 7. Sometimes 5. Once a month, 5. Once a week, 4. 3 times a month, 1, and no answer, 9. uh,
That's
what X?
that was when they were
Okay.
still doing weekly pay-per-views, I guess. I didn't realize that.
I think they did. This is,
Before they had TV on Fox.
yeah, this is April 2004.
Wow.
So, what ex OVW wrestlers do you want to see return to OVW? And you can pick more than one, just, people who have been here before that you'd like to see come back. So, this is 2004. So, John Cena, 89. And next, and now remember, this is 2004, where the Damager has become Danny Basham and has become brothers with Doug Basham, and they've taken him up there in WWE land and put them, unfortunately, under the goddamn auspices of Linda Miles as Shaniqua. And that's another story when we get into the talent reports another time, where I said, here you've got the best in-ring heel tag team in the business, not just in your company or in my company, but in the business. Right here. and they brought him up there and made him the stooge of this goofy girl that didn't even want to be in a wrestling business and hopping around while she whipped them because she was the dominatrix. And talk about, they talk about that Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd sexual tension on Moonlighting. There's more sexual tension between a tree and a fucking rock. Then it was God, oh, fucking hell. But anyway, now bear in mind some of the names that are on this list, right? Of people that they want to see back that were in OVW before, but these are who placed. John Cena, 89. Danny Basham, 34, but Damager listed by that name, 20, so the total was 54. And then followed by Doug Basham at 38, but also by Machine, his OVW name, got 15, so that was a total of 53. Then the next place was Batista. 24 people, 30 less than the Bashams wanted to see him back. Well, but Leviathan, listed by that name, because they liked that gimmick, got another 12. So he got 36. Randy Orton, 34. Rico, 32. Victoria, 27. Shelton Benjamin, 17. Rob Conway, 12. He'd been there so long, they really hadn't worked up too much of a fucking miss for him yet. And guess who got 12? We had 12 people. We want to see this sumbitch come back.
Who?
Brock Lesnar.
Wow, only 12 people.
Well,
this is April 2004. Is that when he had the thing with Goldberg at WrestleMania when everyone knew they were walking out?
No, that was years after that, wasn't it?
No,
was it?
That was WrestleMania 20.
Well, I don't know, but they didn't want him to walk back here.
I think that was around this period of time, April 2004.
Well, they didn't give a shit if Brock Lesnar was walking out of the WWF. They just didn't want to see him walk back here. They would just prefer he just keep on walking. That's the point, is they didn't want to see him come back.
Are the Bashams individually, and then as a team, are they the most frustrating to you as like someone who promoted them, booked them, knew what you had with them?
Probably overall, yeah. When I'm sending the office these tapes of this local TV show where they're having fucking matches for 20 minutes, they're tearing the fucking standing room only house down and people are screaming and jumping up and down. They're drawing money at shows in an amusement park, for fuck's sake. And they're performing at a level when they're still Doug had more training, but Damager started in 1999. This is less than 5 years in, and he's working with goddamn the WWF stars, and they're saying, why aren't they bringing him up? And Doug had already been there for a while. They worked with Angle and fucking Benoit and goddamn everybody that we brought in is like, what the fuck? This is a night off. But they bring them up there and they're stooges jumping around in leather pants to a dominatrix that couldn't fucking swing a whip. But anyway, other people placed were Nikita, Miss Jackie, Nydia. They liked the young ladies. And one person wanted to see Mark Jindrak come back.
Mark Jindrak?
One person. Okay, do you approve or disapprove of the way OVW wrestlers are presented on Raw or SmackDown? Approve 83, disapprove 38, disapprove specifically mentioning Eugene 27 for a total of 65. So the approvers won out 83 to 65. But actually, well, then somewhat disapproved got 13. So wait a minute, 38, 50, 65, 78 to 83, they approved. But no opinion was 10 and no answer was 4.
What do you think
of
that
the comments? I'm sorry.
Were you surprised by that one? By the results?
I thought it would be a little bit more heavily disapproving, but I knew it was going to be at least halfway because everybody was mad specifically right then about Eugene. But the Bashams. Eugene and the Bashams, I think, were the worst blowback that we got. But here's some of the comments. This is to the office. So Dinsmore comments were mostly unprintable, but there was a very vehement negative feedback. Also, Batista should be Leviathan. They're upset Rico is either gay or a pervert.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the reaction to Rico getting called up and getting a whole new thing.
Yeah, they didn't like that because Rico, he was so nice to everybody that they were personal friends of his by that point. Also, WWE makes OVW wrestlers jokes. WWE gives OVW wrestlers mediocre, stupid characters. WWE should show who they really are. OVW wrestlers made to act stupid on TV. WWE needs more wrestling, less talk. Positive comments. Cena has exploded, become big star. Like seeing those we know on TV. Any publicity is good publicity. Everyone has to start somewhere. These are fan comments, right? What WWE wrestlers do you want to see on OVW events? But we mentioned, okay, within reason, don't pick Steve Austin, Undertaker, Rock, or Triple H, because Austin, by that point, I think, was retired. Undertaker wasn't going to do any more since they closed the Gardens. Rock was in the Hollywood, and Triple H was in Stephanie.
You couldn't get... in Stephanie. You couldn't get the Undertaker for Six Flags?
It wouldn't have been worth it. No, because we paid him $20,000 for the Gardens. Or was it 15? I've got the paperwork. I'll find it. We gave Austin 25, but he actually outdrew the Undertaker. But financially, no, we would give the guys that we would bring in, a couple grand, I think it was, but also they knew that they were helping out. They were going to be working with the guy who deserved it most or fit the match most in developmental and try to help them along. We were very mercenary for the goddamn Gardens. We want to sell this son of a bitch out because Clear Channel Radio had bought the shows. But anyway, with the schedule of the way it was then, no, we weren't going to get any of the 4. But otherwise, well, who do you pick? And they picked, and by the way, this was 2004, so I was working on a bit of this list, and we produced some of them. Rey Mysterio got 32. I never got Rey.
That's the top vote getter?
He was the top vote getter. And remember, I only had another year of this. Our Six Flags 2004 season, talent was mostly booked. And then, so we were working on the next year's season. We did have Rey Mysterio down here a few times on the old back when they'd sent him to Cincinnati for HWA in the old arena, but nevertheless. Oh, and by the way, another thing I found was the email where we found out that after Dreamer told us, I went back and looked. It was John Laurinaitis' fault for not telling Randy Orton. He said, "I've confirmed with everyone and am talking to Orton today." This was in March. We started advertising Orton in fucking June, and then found out he wasn't there because Laurinaitis never did fucking talk to him. And that was one of the last straws also when I had false advertised my Six Flags people and cussed about that. Nevertheless, here's the list of people they want to see. Rey Mysterio, Rob Van Dam got 29. Edge, 20. Chris Jericho, 17. I think we had Jericho that summer. Lita, 17. Chris Benoit, 16. We had him the previous year. Kane, 14. Matt Hardy, 14. Shawn Michaels, 12. Keep dreaming. Eddie Guerrero, 12. Hurricane Helms, 10. And then, like every name in the world, down to one person wanted to see Mark Jindrak. But what WWE wrestlers do you not want to see on OVW events? This was interesting. Number 1 was Kane. He got 21, didn't want to see him against 14 that did. I don't know who he pissed off here, but guess who number 2 was with 17 votes?
Triple H.
Randy Orton.
Oh, wow.
Randy must have been rude to some people. Well, when he was a young man, one of the talent evaluations, we'll get to that also. When he was a younger boy. No, Triple H and Big Show tied with 13 each. Triple H had never been to Louisville, but Big Show had stayed here for a while. Again, some of this may have been personal. Ric Flair, 11. We don't want to see you. Fuck, I don't know what he could have done.
He was aligned with Triple H. If people didn't want to see Triple H, that may be it.
Christian, number 5, and then it goes down to, just people's personal. They're listing umpteen names. Funaki. Somebody said Funaki. I don't want to see Funaki. Bischoff and Heyman got 1 vote each. All right. What do you like about seeing OVW at the Davis Arena? I'll pick this up in descending order. Live experience overall. Good wrestling matches, clean environment, meeting wrestlers, friendly staff, everything about it. Seeing myself on TV, seeing big name stars, convenient location, Jim Cornette. I got 6 votes. Family event and air conditioning came in right below me at 4. So I'm a little bit more popular in Louisville than air conditioning. What do you not like about seeing OVW at the Davis Arena? In descending order, nothing. Everything is fine. Got 67 votes. Arena should be bigger. Show should be longer. 2-hour TV show. They don't like waiting before the doors open in the weather. They don't like people saving seats. Talk between matches. Need new music before the show. Need bigger restrooms. 4 people said drinks are too high priced. The drinks are too damn high. 3 people said we need more comfortable chairs. And 3 people would like to do away with intermissions and raffles.
What are your thoughts as the promoter about people being upset about other people saving seats?
Well, it can, because it was all, come as you are, not come as you are. Some people didn't even bother to get dressed. What am I trying to say now? Not come in when you want. First come, first serve. No, stop it. Stop it with the fucking. It's first come, first serve, general admit festival seating, as they used to say. But the regulars would come in Donna would be there with her coat in the other seat. You know that it's a weekly social thing. And what would you like to see sold at the concession stand? This was all over the place, but winning out were pretzels with cheese, pizza and fries, and beer, but we couldn't get a beer license.
What did you guys have?
Well, we pretty much had drinks and fucking pretzels and cheese and pizza and fries. We had real good pizza because remember when I landed Wix as a sponsor, they gave us a pizza oven. And they would deliver us 6 big giant fucking pizzas that we could sell by the slice. And if you've ever had a Wix slice of pizza, you need goddamn hernia fucking support just to lift the thing.
They gave you a pizza oven. It's still a pizza oven? Is it Davis Arena?
Well, actually, then that's the thing is when old Wick himself, Michael, the guy that owned the thing, he made his wife business partners with him on paperwork, and then they got a divorce, and he didn't want to die on the wrestling hill, so we lost the sponsorship, but we kept the pizza. But I don't know if anybody now works in Wix corporate. The current owners of OVW, the West Faversham people, they've had a goddamn pizza oven of yours for the past 20 years over there at 4400 Shepherdsville Road in Louisville. You better fucking come get that son of a bitch.
They should market OVW pizza. It may do better than the actual current product.
It'll get over like Arthur Treacher's fish and chips did in fucking Louisville. Or H. Salt fish and chips, I should say. Wrong English fella. All right. But anyway, there's all kinds of things here in these files if people are interested, and they keep telling us that it's better than the current wrestling stuff. So, which, by the way, we've taken a rest from this week because I read recap, Brian, on the Raw and SmackDown from this previous week down, this previous week down. And on both shows, it apparently a bunch of the top guys came out and had some stern words for each other. And that's about it. So we've got Saturday night's main event and Saturday afternoon's fucking hysteria to cover here in the next week or so. So we're trying to give the people a break from the modern wrestling and show you how things used to be.
What about the women's pay-per-view or women's premium live event?
I wish them all the luck in the world with that. I really do.
All right. Well, this has been Talent Reports and Fan Questionnaires.
And by the way, and I also found a memo when they were talking about needing to make budget cuts, and I was wanting to get them to sign Johnny Jeter to a contract. I'll tell you, somebody, if you need to save on the talent budget, you could start looking at cutting right off the bats Linda Miles. And I'd forgotten that besides the fact that she was the shits in every way, she had told us, well, I don't know whether I really am cracked up for this or not, and I'm going to have to think about some things. So I reported back to the office. I suggest that you give her the chance to think about a bunch of other things and save some money, and they brought her up and put her on fucking Smack.
Well, like you said, we'll be having more of this on the show, on the experience as well. Jim's Files, we have From the Files, we have lots of historical wrestling content, the likes of which no other podcast could produce. But Jim,
the likes of which has never been seen before, baby. And you know what? It will never be over. As I'm looking at this drawer over here, like I said before, if I was to just start reading, it would take me a fucking while to read all of the things about all of the people. The people.
Well, you reading these things isn't the issue. People being able to receive them is something maybe we can help to listen along, to hear all this historical content, to pass your test or your quiz, whatever it may be. And of course, all you need is the power of our friends from Raycon.
Well, you need the power of hearing. You need the power of your ears is what you need. And then to convey this information that we're giving to you, you need to have fine sound quality. You need to have a comfortable fit. You can't just be walking down the street carrying a record player anymore. And if people frown at me when I go out in public with my portable 8-track tape player, So I think the thing to do now is just make it where nobody knows that you've even got these little bad boys in your ear. The Raycon everyday wireless earbuds, they have no wires, hence the name wireless, so they can't be dangling out of your ears and get caught. You know, when people are walking down the street, that's a good way that somebody could just garrote you, Brian. If they wanted to mug you, they could just come up from the people with the wires sticking out of their head attached to the thing that goes into, they could just grab those wires and just in kind of a bungee knot around your neck, they could garrote you like some ancient Hindu mysticism. Well, you don't want that because in any way.
No, you don't. No, we don't.
No, in any way to hospitalize you wearing these, they'd have to come up with a hammer and a chisel and just kind of pop them all the way into your head. And I don't think people are going to have the balls to do that, folks.
Once again, I don't know where this example is going or what.
Well, I'm talking about the safety factor.
Let's talk about safety. You can safely rely on Raycon to bring you the best audio, your music, your podcasts, your audiobooks, whatever it may be. You can trust Raycon. We wear them. We love them here at Last Manor. Every member of the family has a pair.
And the colors.
And the colors. And I know.
The colors. I'm seeing them right now. The colors of these things are just incredible. And so when you're walking down the street, you're making a fashion statement. You're matching your summer vibe, baby, because they come in a spectrum of vibrant colors for you to vibe with. And sometimes if you listen on the vibing earbuds with the vibrant colors to a girl with a vibrator, well, you'll feel swell. And there's the 32-hour battery life and the multi-point connectivity that lets you hook up with two devices at once. Talk about summertime. Woo! Let it all hang out. And 10 minutes of charging yields 90 minutes of battery. Boy, if you plug this thing in and charge it up all the way, you could probably electrocute somebody. If you just send out a signal through your touch one side.
Not through your putts. No,
touch one side of your earbud on one ear and point your right finger at somebody, you can send out a bolt of lightning.
No, once again, great audio, and they look good, and they're stylish, lots of colors. I know a lady that loves the color mint, and she's got those. Yes. And of course, you can pick whatever color you want. Like I said, we love Raycon. We listen to them over here, or we use them to listen to other things over here that don't produce their own songs. And of course, Jim and his family love Raycon as well.
Yes, my whole damn family. But also, here's the thing. Is that spearmint green, or is that mint as in like a candy mint red or a candy stripers?
Candy mint red. I think green is kind of where that would go. It's kind of greenish.
Well, so for all the frogs out there, folks, also, you'll never know. And once again, folks, right now you can save money by listening to all these fine programs. You'll have voices in your head. They will talk to you. They will understand. If you go to buyraycon.com, that's BUYRAYCON.com/JCE, you're going to get 15% off the best-selling everyday earbuds right now. So just buy a bunch of them. If you buy 10 pair at 15% off, that means you get 150% off. That means they're going to send you half the money that you would normally spend, plus all those earbuds. If you get 150% off, I'm pretty sure the math works that way. But 15% off right now at buyraycon.com/JCE.